I invented LifeSaver because I got angry. Different people invent things for different reasons, and I just got angry. Like most of you in 2005, and we are celebrating Boxing Day, sitting down, having plenty to eat and plenty to drink, and these images start coming through on the TV. And this is the tsunami. And we're all looking at this going, what's going on? This is just mad. And in the days and weeks that followed, I started to get angrier and angrier. Here we are in the 21st century. People have fled to the hills, right? No one's setting up camps. People can't get to people to provide water. It was very simple. I saw pictures on the news of people in camps and they had no water, so they were forced to drink the groundwater. They were forced to drink from puddles because given a choice of drinking nothing or drinking something that kind of resembles water, you're going to drink that. So I just got really mad. And then the normal things happened. I thought, I must do something about it. And then Hurricane Katrina happened, slammed into the side of America. And I thought, okay, so here's a first world country, right? They've got to be able to provide for their people. Day one, nothing. Day two, nothing. You actually were seeing people shooting people on the news for their possessions. And they were arguing and fighting over water. Yeah? They didn't get water to the Superdome for 5 days. There was 100,000 people held up in that place, and they didn't get water to them. So I just decided that was it. I thought, well, you need to be able to provide people the ability to process their own water. Yeah? It just seemed logical. And hey, 95% of the world's disasters are caused by water. They've got enough there. They just needed to be able to process it themselves. So I came up with this, the LifeSaver bottle. I'm going to show you how it works, but I've just noticed there's quite an amount of clean water in there. So I've got some water from my pond. And actually, let's have a gentleman smell this. Come here. Go ahead. But I'll just pour some of that in there. And this is from the base of my pond. And it's really quite nasty. And then I thought I'd get some other bits and pieces and just put them in there. A few feathers and things like that. So it works really simply. Just stir that up there. Get some pretty murky water. You chuck it in the bottom here like this. Now, normally I wouldn't chuck a load of leaves and stuff in there. There is another filter. You put the base on, okay, and you give it a few pumps. And that's it. And so I'm going to try and perform this, if I can. It might go everywhere. But you just pop the tea. And that's it. That is clean, sterile drinking water. And it's that quick. Thank you. Thank you. Cheers. Now, I'm going to pick on this gentleman again. Maybe you'd like to come up. Come on.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. What's it taste of?
Drinking water?
Okay. Perhaps I could talk a little and fast forward a bit, and I invented this using the same technology with some newer patents that I filed on it. It's exactly the same technology as the LifeSaver bottle, but it's all integrated into a jerry can. Now, I recently came back from Pakistan last week, and we've actually got nearly 2,000 of our jerry cans out there now. There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who aren't in camps, who can't get to camps, don't want to get to camps, are trying to protect their lands. And this is how they're living. And these are causeways. There's hundreds and hundreds of these causeways that run all across Pakistan. I was in an area called Tata. And this is how they're living. Now, that looks like a beautiful lake. It's not. It's their field. These are villagers from this field. That's where they're living. Right? You see, as it's got a pointer, there's a sort of thing that looks like a bed. That's because it is a bed. The floods came so fast that the only way they could get some of their possessions was to pile it onto their bed, and they lifted it and they ran with their bed up onto these causeways. And if you look in the images on the news and you look out for things like that, it's millions of them everywhere. That's all they're able to do is get their possessions out. You think, oh, what a lovely lake, and then you spot the house in the middle of it. This is what I saw. These are my photographs. I came back with these. And the people are looking forlorn because their crops are gone. The sugarcane plantations, gone. Ruined. There's a huge, great sugar factory in Tata, employing thousands of people. What are they going to do when it would normally come time to harvest the sugarcane? There is millions and millions of chickens and chicken farmers out there. And all you can see is the tops of the huts. Chicken's gone. Their whole industry has gone. We think the worst is over. It's not. The worst is to come. This is what it does to a village. It just runs through and decimates it. It's like as if you just put the grayscale on. Again, this is where they're living. This is how you lose yourself if you walked into that water. This is the result. Now it's receding. But it's not going to go away. It's 6 months probably. For those of you who can't see what that is, that's where they used to get their water from, in the village, before it flooded. So, this is a result of good-natured people trying to get them bottled water. Right? Doesn't work, by the way. People just end up collecting them or using them. This is one of their methods for cleaning their water. They're simple people. They're not educated, these people. They're not stupid, but they're just not educated. So what they were doing is putting the water in the bottles, leaving it to settle for half an hour, and drinking that. These are the water boys, as I call them. They go and get water. It's very bitter, and you know, we couldn't drink this water. And they sell that for 10 rupees for 20 litres. But it's just as bad as the flood water. It just looks a bit better. So this is where they're getting their drinking water from. And that's what it looks like. Am I extending on too far?
No, you're fine.
Good. So what we did is we were able to go with our LIFESAVER jerry cans. They were able to fill up the water from the flood. That looks like a sea. It's not. It's the flood water. It's where their fields are. Fill it up. We taught them in about 2 minutes how it worked. This happened to be a local government officer coming around and helping us. And there's the clean water coming out. And they're filling it up. And the kids are rushing up and drinking it. And it's just they all want to go. Now, there's some lovely children. We only had to go there once. Yeah? A village of 50 or 100 or villages, 1 or 2 jerry cans, job done. You don't have to keep going back, giving them water. And that was the great thing. And I kind of felt disappointed my first day. I thought it'd be bigger, it'd be great, it'd be fanfares and everything. But I realised actually the great thing was it was so simple, we just plonked it and left it and went. And in my 2 days there, 3,000 people now had access to safe drinking water. And by the time we're finished, we'll have 250,000 people with access to safe drinking water. Just with these. So there's some beautiful pictures of happy people. This was quickly out in Haiti, where, using the bottle, nursing mothers, in fact, they weren't the real mothers, they had died and they were looking after children. So what they were doing is taking sterile milk and putting it with dirty water. So the kids were getting ill. So we gave them LIFESAVER bottles. And this is my final shot. I walked into the governor's residence, and across his entire car park were these, kind of lucky for me, yellow-topped 5-litre bottles of water. Across his entire car park, there was about 1,000. And I did a quick calculation. And they were going and handing these things around. I did a quick calculation. I said, excuse me, Governor, do you realise that you'd actually need 3,000 of those for one of those? And he got it. I could talk a lot more, but I'll get off because there's 2 other people. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael.